Cool. So here we are, just filling in the rest of the fretboard for A minor pentatonic. While we're at it, so when do you use this? Heavy shit in A, blues in A, song in A minor. What we also talked about today is this concept of relative major, where you just go index pinky, and that's the note C. So if somebody was playing a song in C major, and we would more start on that note, but you could totally still include the first note in the pattern.
Yeah.
So A minor / C major. All of these fingerings we're learning right now are the A minor / C major pentatonics, meaning that you could use it in those two contexts, and that, but then for like heavy shit, it just kind of works. Song in A, do the A minor one, and the same with blues. But yeah, so that's like saying sofa couch. A minor is C major, and on the page with the lift by the drop riff, I've got myself going like A minor is C major. B minor is D major, so whatever, there we go. But right now we're just going to learn these in the keys that we learn them. So back behind that, we've got the pentatonic 5, fingering in A, C, A, C. Cool, so there we are, now our world goes. I know this main box, I've got this thing back behind it. Up in front of it, here's us, so just starting on that next note, we have one that's exactly like our major scale fingering.
Yeah.
In terms of, this is the only one where there's no good way to turbo through it using 2 fingers a lot.
Yeah.
So there we are. So there's those 3. We've got our main box, and then so in front of it there's this, and behind it there's this, and we're calling this one pentatonic 5.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely 1. So why don't you just stop and get comfortable with those. And then we have the last 2, which when I was teaching them to you in the lesson, I skipped number 3 and then came back to it because number 4, the last one, is this A string box where you just start on the A string and go, and then, which if we were in some other key, like this is D, there it would be like all right front and center, right in the middle of the fretboard. And I'm sure you already play this structure all the time and you know what you're doing. So yeah, and then while we're at it, if you want to use the bass string. And then back behind that, we've got 3 of these. And then a weird thing. When we were in the main box, we had 2 of these, and then it got weird.
Yeah.
When we were in our A string box, we get 3 of these chilling back behind it to play off of, and then 1 weird string.
Yeah.
So there you go. We got number 3 where there's A. And the fretboard starts over at the 12th fret.
Yeah.
E, A, D, G. So why don't we decide you're going to fully internalize that concept this week? Just be like, all right, E, A, D, G, because you already know those. So just be like, okay, just having thought about that at all consciously, the 12th fret thing will take over, and you'll have an easier time figuring out note names around there.
Yeah.
And also just be sure to go back and look at your landmarks and just know G and C, A and Z, each one autonomously, out of order, in order. But yeah, so there's the whole fretboard. We've got main box, the thing behind it, the thing in front of it, which starts on C, so it's more of a major.
Yeah.
And then we had our 3 of these in a row where there's the root A right there.
So this is the A major and
A
minor and C major, right? Okay,
Yeah.
See, that's my thing. I always get mixed up as the minor and majors.
Yeah, cool. So we've got this page over here where I wrote stuff just about that relative major.
Oh, okay.
It was like index pinky, here's this one, here's that one.
Yeah.
It works everywhere.
Okay.
But regardless, right now, if we just think about like these fingerings only existed at the frets we played them in, only in A, just that's also C major. So right now we're not trying to spread out to every other key, we're just learning these, which like it says at the bottom of the page. So, so play and point. What do I mean? I mean play the fingering and then, like just thinking about the hand movement and then go A, C, playing this and then going A, C, playing this one and then just going C. there's not really a good A in that one.
Yeah.
And this one, there's not really a good C.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this one, we totally get both.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like the state capital, and they do move around. But first, before you do any of that, should just learn them in this home base key of A minor / C major.
Oh yeah, I'm not moving until I get
But either way, like I'm saying, shit down at the bottom of the page. First, you're gonna do them in order, and then roll the die. And that's really the key concept. That's what we're trying to do here, is just get each one of them as this autonomous hand movement in your head, and so you can start playing on any of them rather than having to rely on starting in the main box and then dipping.
Yeah.
Just each one of them is the same movement. That's pretty easy to learn. So roll a die. When it comes 6, roll again, and only do that after you feel like comfortable playing them in order. And then third, I should start moving them around to other keys. Nature of our fretboard is anything we move around, it's going to keep the same sound. And I didn't mean to do that like a rhyme or whatever, but if I play my main box here, that's the F sharp minor A major pentatonic. If I did it at the 7th fret, that's just 2 frets up from where we learned it, it's the B minor pentatonic, which is the D major pentatonic. So there it is, and this is in front of it, and this is behind it, so everything's everything. But get it down really well on one key and then extending it to other keys. So it's just worth pointing out, like, our A string box up here is all like weird, but if I was in a key like C, it would be right here front and center in the middle of the fretboard. So it seems like it's a little obscure and weird up there, but when we move to other keys, it's going to be there. So just, totally everything moves side to side. It keeps the same tonality, just like chord shapes do or anything does. And definitely go back and go over your landmarks, just like F, G and C, A and D, B and E, C and F, E and G, and same, random quiz yourself process you have to do, knowing them, going through them sequentially. That's not the level of recall we're looking for. We're looking for just, this is called B, like you meet some dude, you remember his name, and not over-intellectualizing that concept. Awesome, so there we go. And so you got 5 pentatonic fingerings now, and we learned them in the key that we learned them in, but it works everywhere. It's really easy to just be like, okay, what if I was in G, and everything just moves 2 frets.
Yeah.
So when you start moving them to other keys, start with stuff like that you'll try it out at you, just like, okay, what if I was in G minor? Mm-hmm. And then it'll be like, just, there's the main box, here's this thing, here's this, so it'll be easier. And then keys where stuff is in drastically different parts of the fretboard. Cool, so there you go, there's the rest of them. And thumb-wise, it'd be great not to see you doing this. When you're inclined to do that, just throw your thumb over the top, and it achieves the same thing. And you will sustain a repeated motion injury doing that. It goes back to when it was hard to push down, like it's never going to be again, unless you like break your arm and can't play for 4 years or something. So there's 2 thumb positions. There's this one and there's this one. Anything with, if you're in between, it's cool. But the whole trip is getting more out in front of the instrument, not always like that. And we haven't done any fingerings that really challenge us yet. Like if I instead of just going index pinky, if I was going 1 fret back index pinky, there's no way to do that and thumb over top. You have to be in classical position. But that's why we're doing these fingerings. They're just all nice, playable rock, index pinky, index ring type fingerings, and you can cruise through a lot of material just using these fingerings. So yeah, the way we're grouping it is main box, behind and front, A string box, behind. Cool. Go nuts, there it is.